Hey, good evening and welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 65. I'm Ron,
I'm Walker.
and our special guest is Justin Colvin tonight. So,
Hey guys.
Justin is going to, later in the show, talk to us about the ISRA worlds and give us some insights and, I don't know, whatever else he wants to tell us. So, we haven't really talked about anything much pre show, so it'll be a surprise for me too, I guess. So, and I got a few questions, so we'll just go from there. So, as usual, we will get started with welcome to Between the Lanes. And as always, tell everybody, find us on YouTube. Slot Racer is the channel. Now we have 65 episodes up with how-tos and some other special episodes. Find us on Facebook. Between the Lanes is the Facebook page. You can make comments, and sometimes people give us questions. We had a couple questions on the show last week from YouTube, and sometimes we get questions on Facebook too, and we try and get them on the show and give our insights or tips. So race results for last weekend, November 3rd and 4th. The winning report. The AWRA was at the Slot Car Track Concord. Walker was there. But in the kids' race, it was Aubrey winning with Amaya second, Hannah third, and Tim in fourth. Someone asked, like, why don't you post the pictures of the kids? And YouTube has this policy about posting things with minors. So just a lot of hassle, so we just kind of avoid that. And but we do like to give them the credit. So there's your winners in the WOMP class from Slot Car Track Concord. In the Legends class, MB, what's MB's last name?
Love.
MB Love showed Walker and Byron the love by winning the Legends race. Walker was second, and Byron, what's Byron's last name?
Peacock.
Byron Peacock was third. In the stock car class and also the sportsman class, Walker was the winner in both. But in stock car, Jason was second, Charles Eldridge was third. And then sportsman, Charles Eldridge was second, and Jason was third. And what is Jason's last name, Walker?
I couldn't tell you that one.
Okay.
That I just met him then.
So, okay. Oh, this is like his first race there?
Yeah.
And he runs in the AWRA series?
He races at what's the place called? North Wilkesboro. It's Uncle Charlie's. That's where he races.
Uncle Charlie's. Yep. That's the old REM track that we had in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, then also that was Saturday. On Sunday, they had Flexi Flats warm-up number 3 race, correct?
Yeah.
And they ran LMP and DTM. And I know that Shane won both races.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any laps. Is this the LMP race or DTM race where you all?
This is the DTM race.
Okay, so the DTM or the production class, Shane was the winner, James Merriman second, Walker was third, and all three were on the same lap at the end of the race, which is.
We were within 10 feet, maybe.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was a fun race.
And then in LMP, Shane won. Do you remember who was second?
I was second, and Bobby was third.
Okay, and that race wasn't as close, I take it.
I was a lap or two behind Shane, and then Bobby was like, I think 4 or 5 behind me.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't remember.
Cool. And this was the last warm-up race before the Flexi Flats next weekend at Slot Car Track Concord. So I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. The Midwest Spec Series was at Mid-America Bloomington. And in the Bomber class, which is a hard body class, Jason Plummer was the winner. Toby Kindig was second. John Vincent third. Dirt Late Models, Toby was the winner. PJ Bolt second. John Vincent third. Spec Indy, which is the JK Indy cars, Kurt Vincent was the winner. Toby second. PJ came in third. And then in GTP, Kurt Vincent was the winner. Dave Fugate was second. And John Vincent was third. The ORS, the Ohio Retro Series, was at Fast Tracks in Newark, Ohio, on the 95-foot American Black Track. The Anglewinder class, and this podium runs from the right to the left. In Anglewinder, Bud Bartos was the winner. Jason Dennis second. Chris Earnhardt, the track owner, was third. Jason Eigelbarger fourth, and Tom Green was fifth. In Can-Am, Jason Dennis was the winner. Jason Eichelbarger second. Craig Scharfenberg was third. Tom Green was fourth. And Gary Eichelbarger, who is Jason's father, was fifth. And in F1, Greg Fox was the winner. Bud Bartos second. Craig was third. Greg Crumnow was fourth. And Jason Eichelbarger was fifth. Last week we gave results on the Bula Bash that was out at Buena Park Raceway the weekend before last, but we didn't have any photos, and I said we would have photos for this show, so here they are. So in the NASCAR Enduro race, this is the picture of the winning team, which was Henry and Duran Trujillo, Bill V, and Alex. The second place team, High Tech 2, was Ben Cervantes Jr. and Sr. and Craig Correa. And the third place team was Autorama with Ed Shore, Marco, and Jim Lane. And then in F1, Ben Cervantes Jr. was your winner with Dale Yamashita second, Brian Warmack third. And in Can-Am, Duran was the winner, Sam Rackham third, and Ben Jr. in third. And that's the race that Duran set a whole bunch of new records, I think, qualifying in lap totals. He was flying. So congrats to Duran. The Halloween How race was at Slot Cars R Us, White House, Tennessee, on the G21 fastest track in America, King track in America. Group F, Smokey was your winner. Wally was second, and Frank Ferlay was third. One Motor 12, Rich Kernut was your winner with Jeff Cox second and Jimmy Morey third. Hillbilly Box was the same results. Rich first, Jeff second, Jimmy third. Cobalt 12, Rich Kernut was your winner. Les Wright was second. Frank Ferlay was third. And then in 27 Light, Rich Kernut was the winner again. He had a pretty good weekend. Ed Gibson was second. Les Wright was third. If there was a Group 7 race, we have no results. So I didn't see anything posted anywhere. I know that Brad Freisner was there. But never seen any Group 7 results. I don't know what this next picture is going to be, but, okay. So while we're on new wing cars, Yankee USRA was at Modelville in Ashland, Massachusetts. The Group 12 class, George Mirza was your winner, Ray Lee second, Eric Lindsley was third. Pro Wire 12, we had Keith Keeler winning with Ray Lee second and George third. Cobalt 12, Rick Gage was your winner, Brandon Lee second, and Dan Keeler was third. And then Group 27, Keith Keeler was your winner again with Brandon Lee second, and Larry G, which I don't know who Larry G is. He looks familiar. I think I raced with him a long time ago, but I can't recall his last name. I had Larry G in the race report. So Larry G was third. The B&E Crosstown Challenge was at Mid-America Naperville. And I don't have any podium pictures, but these are the pictures of the class of cars. And this is the hobby stock division. Brian Meharry was your winner. Rick Stagan was second. Neil Eisler was third. Dirt Late Model, which was ran on the oval. Neil Eisler was your winner. Jim Kreider second. And Brian Meharry third. And they combined super stock, pony stock into one class, I guess, for this race. Neil Eisler was the winner. Brian Meharry was second. And Rick Stagan was third. And for you guys that maybe don't know much about hard body pony stocks, is like for the Mustangs and Camaros, which is the number 16 car. And then super stock is like the longer body cars. So number 70, which I think is a Ford, and 63 is a Superbird, Plymouth Superbird. Those are generally super stock cars. The Midwest Flat Track Series was at Mid-America Naperville on the same day. Actually, they ran first. Hard bodies ran later in the day, but no podium pictures. But we got in JRL, Rick Stagan was the winner. Dale Leip was second. Kevin Van Pelt third. In the B production class, Dale Leip was the winner. Cato was second. Rick Stagan third. In Open 12, Gary Gasport was last few seconds winner over Kevin Van Pelt, who had, I believe, some motor brush troubles. And Urza Vosberg was third, which that is Bernie Schatz's grandson, and that was his first race in quite a while. So he finished third overall, and that was a pretty good day. The British Slot Car Racing Association raced last weekend in the UK. And I'm just showing you pictures of the cars they raced because we don't have any podium pictures. So in the Open Group 12 class, Devin Wills was your winner. James Cleve was second, and Richie Kettleson was third. And then in the 124 production class, which is DTM bodies with stamped steel chassis, Gavin Wills was the winner with James Cleve second and Richie Kettleson third again. And then in 124th Eurosport, which those chassis look like the Open Group 12 chassis, but different motors and different other chassis dimensions. Richie Kettleson was your winner. James Cleve second, and Will Stenman was third. The Ohio Oval Series kicked off their new season, and they raced at CF Raceway and Fremont, Ohio. Fast Tracks and CF both are in Fremont, Ohio. So, but they raced on last Sunday. In the IndyCar class, Dennis Murray was your winner. Kirby McLennan was second. Elmo was third. In the stock car class, Jim Pace Jr. was your winner. Dennis Murray second, and Kirby was third. In dirt late model, Elmo was your winner. Jim Pace second, and Kirby third in that class. The Yuska Nats was at Thaser Raceway, South Bend, Indiana. And in the IndyCar class, with a borrowed car, I was your winner. And Bill Ridley was second, and John Miller was third. Interesting side note on this. So I don't have an Indy car, and John Miller said, I got an Indy car if you want to use it. So he mailed it to me, and I got it like last Wednesday. I didn't do anything with it. And I thought I'll take it to the track. If I have time, I'll play with it. If I don't, I won't. So to make a long story short, I did have time, and I practiced with it on Friday night, and it was going pretty good and everything. And so John loans me his car. Rick Stagan, who was there Friday night before he went to Chicago, he left his Indy car at the track for John to run, I guess. So I ran a borrowed car and John ran a borrowed car, but John could have just ran his car. And so I don't know. Anyway, that was a really close race because I only beat Bill by like half a lap. And he was really fast, and he kind of snuck in there, but he ran a real good race. Best race I've probably ever seen Bill run. In the 4.5-inch class, Jeff Strauss was the winner, with Scott Morgan second and John Miller third. And in the Can-Am class, where everybody, well, the top three anyway, ran the same color car, because I loaned one to JP and I loaned a body to John Miller. I was the winner. JP was second. John Miller was third. And production 124th, which was flexi chassis with Hawk 7 motors. I was the winner. Jeff Strauss was second. Harry Watson was third. FNRS was at Fast Eddie's Raceway in Pinellas Park, Florida. In the LMP class, Ralph Thorne, who's usually on this show or used to be on this show, I talked to him today, and he'll be on in the next couple of weeks, he said, so we'll see. Ralph was the winner. Aaron Rothstein was second. James Johnson was third. In the stock car class, Ralph was the winner again with Terry Tawney second. Marcus Ramos was third. And in GTP, Brian Ambrose was your winner with James Johnson second. Terry Tawney was third. So Winner, chicken dinner. The NorCal Scale Racing Association, I don't know if that's the right name, but they raced last weekend, and I didn't snag all the information. So we will recap that race next week along with the races that are coming up this weekend.
Sunday.
Wow, you said it right this week. So let me get to that one. So this weekend, November 10th, Florida Slot Car Series is in action. The Fall Brawl and at Speed Zone Raceway in Mount Holly, New Jersey is taking place. Mid-American Hardbody Series at Thaser Raceway in South Bend. Penn Ohio Retro is in Washington, Pennsylvania. BRS is at Downriver in Lincoln Park, Michigan. The AWRA is at Thunder Road in Virginia. The JPM Hardbody Series is also at Thaser this weekend. And Mid-South Slot Car Racing Association is at Slot Car Track Concord. And I think Walker will be racing in that. November 17th, we got Central Illinois Slot Series at Route 66. The Flexi Flats at the Slot Car Track Concord. The Ohio Challenge Cup Series is at Haven Raceway in Elyria, Ohio. And the TSRA Wing Association is at PA Watson's down in Houston, Texas. And Thanksgiving weekend, we got the Texas Two-Step at Dallas Slot Cars. That's a retro race. And AWRA will be at American Adrenaline Raceway in Randleman, North Carolina. And you can still sign up for the Flexi Flats. But if you do, I think there's, 27 guys entered?
Yep, 27.
27. Do you think a few locals might show up yet?
Yeah, we're really trying to talk them into it because they all think, you know how it is with locals. They think that they're not good enough.
Right.
So basically, all I'm trying to do to get them to know that they're good enough is just handing them my car.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go run my car only like half a tenth slower than I'm running my car.
Right.
And then they understand that they are good enough to do it. And so now there's a lot of people trying to make sure that they can come schedule-wise.
Okay, cool. So, 27, if all we gets 27, that's still a good race. So
yeah.
And all three of us are going, so, you got to go just because we're there. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Justin's coming all the way in from California. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, is Ernie Irvin going to be there?
We don't know if he'll be in town.
Okay.
It'd be good PR if I could say yes, but we don't know if he'll be in town because his son's racing schedule is whenever he comes here.
Well, we can talk about that on episode 66 next week because we may know by then.
Maybe.
So I just wondered if he was going to be there. I think someone else asked me if he was going to be there. So
yeah.
Be cool if he was. Now, he's raced on the flat track, right?
Yeah, he came and raced a Monday night NASCAR race about 2 weeks ago.
And how did he do?
He did pretty well for a first time doing it. Yeah.
Cool. Because they're now living basically in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jared, his son, their race shop is up here in Concord still, and he goes to UNC Charlotte. And so Jared still lives here at school.
Okay.
But then the rest of the family moved to Florida. So that's why Ernie comes in town once a month or so for a race, for his son to be able to race. And so that's why I don't know, because I don't know if there's any races.
Gotcha. Okay, well, it'd be really cool if he's there. So
yeah.
And we're giving away free stuff tonight. We have 4 pair of Herminator tires on the plastic hubs to give away. And what else we got to give away, Justin?
We have a PMP 2017 GT12 chassis kit.
There it is.
Which is the chassis that won the 2018 Amateur GT12 National Championship.
Cool. Okay. So last week, Walker thought he was going to be Ron Jr. One of our viewers sent this in and said, well, isn't there kind of a resemblance between, more of a resemblance between Walker and Justin Porter? And I was like, wow, okay. So what's your take there, Walker?
You mentioned that to me, and as soon as you said it, I just knew that this was going to happen.
Oh, did you?
Oh, I knew it was coming.
Justin just had the hat on.
Yeah. Yeah, if he just had the hat.
All right. So we'll go back. So there you go. Justin McNulty.
Yeah. Justin Ron McAnulty.
McAnulty.
Yeah.
All right. So, was it 2 weeks ago was I guess 2 to 3 weeks ago or 3 to 2 weeks ago, depending how you look at when it started and when it finished, was the ISRA Worlds Race in Finland. And Justin was one of, 8 Americans that was there?
I think we had around 10.
Oh, 10 Americans? Okay.
10 there.
Okay. So, we had talked prior to Justin going over to try and do a special episode like we did the year before. Scheduling kept that from happening, but we tried and it just didn't happen. Yeah. So I told Justin and his dad it'd be cool if Justin could come on the show after he gets back and give us insights and his take on this year's championship. So I have a few questions, but I'll let you just start because my questions aren't really they're direct questions, but I don't know where they fall in the conversation. So just
right.
Tell us about your experience in Finland.
So I got there the Friday before the first week of practice started.
Okay.
Got time to get accumulated, the time change and everything. Went down to look at the track and kind of get my pit set up and everything down there. Then practice started. It was, I'd say, one of the harder tracks I've raced on.
Okay.
Which would be expected for a Worlds, but even for a Worlds, it took a while to get used to.
Okay.
I would say it was about as technical, maybe a bit more than Rogers was in 2016.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I call that thing, I look at it, I just call it the spaghetti bowl because it's.
there was just so much going on that track.
Okay.
As far as racing goes, production, I was teamed up with Andrei Zabanov.
And where was he from?
Russia.
Okay.
And he runs slotracingshop.com.
Okay. Does he have a raceway or just a website? Or I should say maybe a club track. I don't know.
I believe he has a club or at least helps running a club.
Okay.
In Russia. And he's always posting pictures of races they have back there, and they get pretty big turnouts. Mainly a lot of kids, too.
Right. Okay. So he's your teammate, and you guys were TQ, right?
Not this year.
Not this year. Okay.
Yeah. Top of the C main this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I came off twice in qualifying.
So explain the qualifying, because both drivers drive or qualify during qualifying, if that makes any sense. I mean, you get a minute, right?
Yeah. So production qualifying is still 1 minute long, but each driver runs 30 seconds. So the first driver goes, time runs out, then you switch, car doesn't move.
Right.
You switch controllers, then you start going again. And then it's based on overall distance.
Right. Laps and sections.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're at the top of the C main. How much difference is it between you uh, being in the A main, like say instead of being first pick C main, eighth pick in the A main? How much distance is that?
Half a lap to a lap, I think.
And you fell off twice.
Yeah.
Right. So it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so if you hadn't fallen off, where do you think you would have qualified? Into the A?
Definitely into the A.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then got to race time, and we were getting around good. Didn't have too clean of a red, but I moved to green, and that heat was a lot better. Stayed on for blue. So with the production race, each driver has to run 4 lanes.
Right.
You can run it whichever way you want. So we kind of did almost a half and half rotation.
Okay.
I did the first 3 heats. Andre did purple, black, and yellow. And then I finished my rotation on orange. Andre finished his on white.
Okay.
Leading into the last heat, we had about a 6 or 7 lap lead on second place in the C main. And then at the start of the 8th heat, the car wouldn't start. So we tried different controllers, pushing the car, everything. Andre took the car back to his box and found out it was a stuck brush that caused it to not start.
Due to a shunt wire?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't even know why they put shunt wires on those, but that's part of the rules.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Group 12 motors really don't need shunt wire, especially on flat tracks. But, some will disagree with me, but, hey, that's fine. Now, so here's a question. If you were to take your hand-up motor and, just pull your shunts out away from your brushes, is that legal or not?
No, the shunts still have to be on the motor and attached to the brushes and everything.
Okay.
Now, you are able to move them.
Right.
Like if they're close to the column or something, you can move them back.
Sure.
But you can't take them off of the brushes or the end belt.
Okay. It's just a question. I didn't know how that.
Yeah.
how they looked at that. I mean, if you was out to run and it's stuck and you just pulled your shunt wire out and your motor took, your car ran, then you'd probably be DQ'd because you pulled the shunt out.
Yeah, that would definitely be a question for the race jury.
Okay.
At the race, if that happened.
Okay.
Because I don't remember that happening in recent years or if that's happened.
Right. Okay. Just questions.
Yeah. But all said and done, when we finally got the car back out and running, we dropped about 17 laps. And that's about the distance between where we finished and third place.
Okay.
We finished in 14th.
So you would have finished probably third, fourth overall.
Yeah.
If you didn't have your problems.
Right.
Did first and second come out of the A main?
Yes.
Okay. So you would have ran more laps than the B main.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so this was the first year that they ran handout chassis.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so I asked another racer that was there that'll go unnamed because it doesn't really matter. But I asked that. My question to you is the same as Tim. Do you feel that by using handout chassis that kind of changed maybe the normal or typical outcome of overpass production races? We all know that there's always rumors of guys heat treating chassis, and because you used to bring your own chassis, so who knows what you were bringing, okay? I mean, and I don't know how close they look at the cars. I mean, but do you think that the handout chassis that kind of changed usual running order or finishes?
No,
Okay. Okay.
no, because at that level, the fast guys are still going to be fast no matter what.
Okay. And that was kind of the consensus the other person gave me. He just threw in that it was obvious that some people weren't prepared to build the car, put the car together in a short amount of time that was allowed to do that. So that kind of changed it for some people because they just weren't prepared.
Right. I will say it made it a bit more challenging,
Mm-hmm.
but there's still plenty of time in the day to build a chassis.
Right.
And
it
for
took
our car, Andre ended up building our car.
Okay. And it took out the factor of buying a really good car from somebody else and using it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
yeah, that the builders
are the builders.
Yeah. So you're able to tell who built a better chassis more this year.
Okay.
But there were still people that were able to drive them.
Right.
So.
Okay. So if you're done with production, I'm done with production. I'll just let you go on the rest of your week.
Okay. I want to congratulate Jonathan and Dominikas again on their win and TQ in production.
Yeah.
That was nice to see.
Yep. Because that's the second time Jonathan's won the production.
Yes.
Because he won 2010, I think, when it was at Chicago with Greg Gilbert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that was the first one for Dominikas.
Right. And he had a pretty good week as the week unfolded.
Yeah, he had a very good week.
How old is Jonathan? Is he in like his 20s, late 20s, early 20s?
Jonathan was 18 in 2010.
Yeah, so he's in his mid-20s now.
He's
mid-20s. Mid to late.
Yeah, or like mid-30s maybe. Or no, or late 20s probably.
Okay, so how old was he in 2010?
I think he was 18.
So he's 26.
Yeah.
26, 27. So mid-20s.
Okay.
I remember when he was, knee-high to a grasshopper, so. and then Boudreaux's, how old is he?
He is 18.
Okay. I thought he was pretty young, but I didn't know how young he was.
Yeah.
Okay, so after production, you guys raced F1 or 132nd Eurosport?
132nd Eurosport was next.
Okay. And what happened there?
So moving on to Eurosport stuff, leading up to the races, I had to go through and rebuild a lot, if not all, of my motors.
Okay.
Just because there was just something up with them, maybe a bad batch of brushes or something, and they were just not running correctly or at all.
Okay.
So I had to spend some time doing that, and I finally got some stuff that was decent enough for me to start practicing and potentially setting aside for the race with. So moving on to didn't really qualify where I wanted to. But that track, I mean, at every ISRA race, the track changes during qualifying.
Right.
This track did kind of something like this during qualifying.
Up and down.
Yeah. Like you'd have middle of the pack guys, or as far as qualifying list goes, and the track would be great. You'd get up to closer to the top, it would go down, then it would go up again.
So was the surface changing, like the bite? I mean, it wasn't a power issue. It was
No. It was all
track conditions.
It was all track conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, which is common for Worlds.
Now, okay, so I'll just interject. So Of course, everyone's running, soft, untreated, natural rubber tires.
Right.
And I know that everyone has different tires. I mean,
Right.
it wasn't like the majority of guys were on a certain donut from a certain company that's hot right now.
Right.
So, yes.
I will say a lot of people were running Speed Shop rubber.
Okay. So do you think maybe that was changing because guys were out with one type of rubber, then some guys were out with another type of rubber, or just maybe? I mean, how stable was the temperature and stuff in the room?
The temperature was fairly stable.
Okay.
But that track, I want to say they used Cayman glue instead of Coford medium, which is what they typically use at Worlds.
Okay.
So that was being thrown around as a possible reason for why the track was changing so much. Because it would get slick.
Okay.
Depending on how much rubber was on and at what point. And there were visible marbles coming up too.
Okay. So you qualify not so good, but
yeah, the car wasn't as fast as I could have been. I just came off too much for how slow it was.
okay. I don't know that.
And I missed the move up by a few laps.
Okay.
I think I ended up 35th in that class.
Yeah, it takes 24. You got to be in the top 24.
Yeah.
Okay. So any comments on the 32nd main? I mean, like, you were there. Is there anything you want
No, I mean, it was a good race.
to? Right.
It was pretty dominant run from, I believe, Yaroslav won that one.
Right.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, because those guys didn't really look that good, like in the semis.
No, the track was slow when you got up to the higher mains.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the track never got faster; it just kept getting slower.
Okay. Okay. So 32nd F1.
That one, I had a good car, qualified okay, was running okay. I think I would have been able to make the move up, but then I think I came off or got hit and lost a gear in that. So I ended up having to change it under green,
Yeah, that's not.
which costs 20 to 30 laps.
Yep. Yep. The most fragile gear train, and then the longest time to fix it.
Yeah.
Good oil lines. Just like a retro car or a womp car.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that way, okay, so in that class, both Paul and Jonathan, they made the main?
Yes, they both made the main.
And Jonathan had a pretty good run going, but then his gear went out or something when he was on red lane or wound up on the floor or something?
Yes, his gear went out too.
Okay. So I take it his gear went out and he free-wheeled and wound up on the floor type of thing?
I'm not too sure on what exactly happened. I just know his gear went.
Okay. So then we get to the Grand Prix, 124th Eurosport.
Yeah. That car I felt good right from the get-go.
Okay.
I felt like I was running times close to what the fast guys were running, like within a tenth or two.
Okay.
And it stayed like that up until qualifying. And track changed a lot by the time I finally got to go up. Because by the time 'Cause was ranked 37, so by the time I got to go for qualifying, there would have already been another 70 minutes of runtime on the track.
Yeah, because you're 37th out of what, 110, 112?
Yeah.
So 60, more than 60. Almost
Yeah.
70 some guys run before you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, 70 minutes. Okay, so let's put that in perspective. 70 guys running 1 minute on that lane is 70 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, well, that's a little more than two 24-minute mains.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's about another
Almost
600.
almost 320. That's like 324s
Yeah.
would be 72. So that'd be like,
About like 800 laps.
yeah, because that's like the D main is run, the C main's run, the B main's run, and now it's time for the A main.
Yeah.
Did they qualify on more than just one lane the whole week, or was it just one
Nope,
lane?
just orange.
But they,
With ISRA, yeah, so during the race, you have practice for that race and then the actual race. Then the track gets cleaned and then repeat.
right.
Oh, okay.
But you still still qualify in orange for all 4 classes.
Okay, so so they finish 132nd F1, and then you practice 124th Eurosport. And then
The next or later that day or the next day, yes.
And then they clean the track after 124th practice.
No,
before
they
124th practice.
Yeah, before 124th practice.
So when you qualify, you're running on the track that's been run in 124th practice.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and it's got a bazillion laps on it by then too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
But
got.
everybody gets to run orange at least 2 minutes in practice.
They do 4-minute
Okay.
practice stints.
Right.
And for the scheduled practice, like before the race day, everyone runs each lane once.
Right.
So you get 8 guaranteed rounds of practice.
Right. But it's still a crapshoot because if you finish the practice session early and then you're not going to qualify for 4 hours, you still don't know what you're going to be running when you get on the lane, or what the lane's going to be like. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just part of learning how to set up the car and predict that stuff.
Right. That's the way it is for everybody.
Yeah.
Because everyone's at a disadvantage because even if you came off the track in the last practice on orange, and you're like one of the top ranked drivers in that practice session, so you're going to wait to be after 100 and some minutes of guys qualifying. So you don't know what you're dealing with. And even if you stand there and say, "Wow, the track's loose," you can't change your tires because your car's an impound. So you got to deal with it.
Spit on it.
You got to hustle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or put more choke on or whatever. Those guys, everyone knows what they're doing to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Some are better at it than others.
Yeah, I would definitely say if you're at a Worlds,
you're with the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have an idea of what you're doing at least.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, no one's walking in, buying a car, and entering the race, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the weekends, so in 124 Eurosport.
Yeah. Qualifying went okay. Again, it was loose for me. My car did 4.4 in practice. I did a 4.8 in qualifying.
Wow. Yeah, you were 4.4 in traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're out there in practice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and there were a few fast guys that didn't do too well in qualifying.
Right.
They kind of were around by me or lower.
Right.
And they were just as fast as me.
Right.
in practice.
Wow.
So you start racing. Is the track any better when you started racing, or is it worse than qualifying, or the same? And then every lane's an adventure, I'm sure.
Because on that track, the gutters were better in the race than the center.
Wow.
Wow.
Especially orange was one of the worst lanes just because of the amount of rubber it had on it.
Right.
But like you'd run your car, and after 2 heats, you start dragging down the side of the pan just because there was so much rubber laid down.
Yeah.
You'd still have plenty of clearance, but you'd be
Right.
rubbing.
Yep. And that can be good, and that can be bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in that race, I had Piero Castriconi in my main, and it was the D main.
He's like wasn't he the defending champion? No.
No, but he's
he's an A guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. He's
top flight.
yeah. And me and him were pretty close for that race. And then at the end of the straightaway, my pinion either spun or broke, and car just sailed into the wall.
Yep.
Thankfully, I had Jason Hooper as my pit guy, and he was able to get me out there, put a new pinion on, and get back out there as quick as
quick as possible. Right.
Yeah.
Still a bummer.
Yeah.
So the question is, in Group 7 racing, guys, do the tie wire or whatever on their pinions to keep them from spinning when the motors get hot.
Right.
Is anyone doing that in 24th?
No.
Over there yet?
No, typically you don't need to because they're not spinning as high revs.
Right.
So they don't get as hot.
Right. But if your pinion spun, that might have kept your pinion from spinning.
Yeah.
Right.
But if it broke, that's another story.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
And there were a few other people that had problems with pinions breaking.
Okay.
Is that track? Everyone was running a 5.2 1.5 millimeter pinion, so there is no meat left on the pinion.
So next year or some point in the near future, we run 4-tooth pinions with
just
1
take your
millimeter
Dremel.
holes.
Just take your Dremel and cut the motor shaft, and that's your pinion. Just 2 times.
Yeah, like I know Heike had his break on him in the semifinal, and he ended up with a 4-tooth pinion.
They keep running?
No.
No, okay. I've seen keep going. Sometimes they lose a tooth, or it's like sometimes you can lose a couple teeth on a spur gear. As long as you keep rolling, you're okay.
Right.
If you stop and you are in between the teeth,
right,
that's the end.
Yeah, what some people have done is go down to a 1.2 shaft.
Yeah.
But that makes the shaft weaker, and
right. You got to worry about breaking the shaft.
Like what happened to Castriconi in 132nd. He actually broke the shaft off right where it drops down from 2 to 1.2.
Yep. Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because drill blanks break before they bend. Which, I mean, even if it bent, it wouldn't be any good because you're not going to have any mesh. So, well,
right.
Half of it you will, the other half you won't. But
well, half it'll be too tight, half it'll be too loose.
Yeah, so the other half
would be perfect spot where it's wonderful.
No, 1/4 too loose, 1/4 too tight.
Yeah, and a half perfect.
Half will be perfect. 2/4.
You're lucky.
See? All right, so everything finished up. You come home. So, okay, I'm going to go back to, so you were there for like 3 weeks, right?
Yes. No. About 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. So then, you said you took a day or so to get used to the local time.
Yes.
Over and stuff. Was that a big problem for you?
It wasn't too bad, but there were nights where I just couldn't go to sleep, so I was staying up till like 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thankfully, there was a table set up in the hotel room so I could work on stuff while I was awake.
Right. And how was the weather?
It was cold, but not too cold. Like I was still able to wear t-shirt and shorts and a light jacket and be fine.
Typical California wear in the wintertime elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was fine. And everyone there was wearing heavy jackets and jeans and everything.
Do you know what an ice scraper is? Have you ever seen one?
Yes.
Okay.
When
When you were in Chicago, Tracy and Paul's there, and I don't remember if it snowed or if it just got like cold enough to where the moisture turned into frost on windshields. And Tracy went out to the car or something. He's like, "There's white stuff on the windshield." And Randy's like, "Well, you need this," and hands him an ice scraper. And he's like, "What is that?" Ice scraper. You scrape the windshield with it. Well, he'd never really seen one before. So, living in California all your life, hey, you never know.
Well, it also depends on where you live in California.
No, I was going to say, where you live, yeah, you guys see. I don't know if you see much snow, but you probably see.
We don't see much snow or ice. It's usually just rain here.
Okay.
But about 45 minutes up the freeway,
yeah,
up into the hills, you start getting snow and everything.
And down where Walker lives, they get ice.
Yeah.
And it just shuts the state down. Like,
yeah, we get ice. Everybody makes fun of us for getting an inch of snow. It's not snow, it's ice.
Believe me, there's a difference between snow and ice.
Exactly.
Ice is not nice. I mean, like,
no.
Snow doesn't bother me, but ice,
yeah,
no.
me neither. But yeah, we get an inch of ice. It's way worse than a foot of snow. Because a foot of snow you can push out of the way.
Right. Well, you can still drive on snow. I mean, that's
yeah.
Ice
is just.
But I know a lot of people down your way, if it snows, they just stay in. They don't even try.
Yeah, that's how it usually is. Everybody just stays in for snow.
And it's not that difficult. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but we're not used to it. We're not a northerner.
Well, but see here, okay, so okay.
We have we're
so when I learned how to drive, we didn't have like snow driving training or it's snowing, we need to teach everybody how to drive in snow. You just got out and you did it. You just slowed down, gave yourself
that's because you had to. Because if you're in snow for like 3 weeks straight,
but it's so easy to do.
I mean, go to work.
I mean, anyone could do it. It's easy. I mean,
yeah, but like here, the snow melts in a day because it gets to like 60 after it snows, so it doesn't matter.
Well, it's just vacation day then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just North Carolina weather. I mean, I don't really know what else to say.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's give away 2 pair of tires.
Give
Terminator.
them to me so I have something to practice on.
Terminators. So 1 pair of Herminator tires will go to everybody's favorite, Mike Fleming. Hey, look at that. He made a little – I like that. So Mike Fleming gets a pair of Herminator race tires. And these winners will have to contact Herman James.
So I have to let you know, these are for a flexi car, and they will not work on a retro car.
Okay. Well, let's hope well.
Tell Fleming that.
No matter who – yeah, he doesn't like that anyway. And then Rube Brantley, he wins a pair. Both these guys race flexi cars, so
yeah.
All right, so I had made a note. There was something I was going to ask somebody. Okay, so what was it? A week ago or so? I guess the big topic, social media topic, was capacitors and controllers.
Uh-huh.
I knew
so after 300 some posts, I don't know if we learned anything, but
well, some of us did. Some of us probably didn't.
Yeah, I guess some people probably did learn some things on that, but all I got to say is the rules say. That's all I wanted to say about it. Now, those rules should have been addressed years ago.
Yes,
when controllers came out, and those in charge at the time said they were going to address it.
But it never
happened. So I'm not saying if you show up at the race and you got a cabin controller, you can't. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that's what the rules say. They need to fix the rules. So
right. Now, well, if you look at ISRA, this year it got changed, or because that was a big topic at ISRA this year too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, making sure controllers are all regulated and no one's adding power to the track or anything.
Okay.
Like the mysterious tech controller.
I believe Karstein is working on a tool to check the controllers at the track. Or
well, like I said a long time ago, I don't know why.
It doesn't take much to do that.
No, I think at the Worlds of the Nats, all you got to do is just simply add a row of meters, volt meters, wire them into the lane. Each lane have 8 meters where the race director can watch them, and you look for voltage going up.
Right, and that rule should be that simple. As long as the controller does not add power to the track, either when it's on or when it's off.
Right.
It's fine. It's free game.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's got
a
capacitor or anything in it.
Right.
As long as it doesn't add voltage to the track.
Right. Or give your car like an advantageous deal where it might coast a lap.
Yeah.
Right.
But, anyway.
Yeah, which, like on the third eye, if you have the trigger, if you're still full throttle when the power cuts off,
you have
a lock motor, your car's sailing.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, every national event or world event should have that rule where there's voltmeters on the track.
Right.
Across 8 lanes. I mean, I'm voltmeter for each lane. You can't have one voltmeter because because that depends on what lane you hook that to.
Yeah.
You got to have 8 voltmeters, and if you got them on there, anyone can see who's doing it.
If somebody's got 20 volts, you know what's up.
Yeah, unhook, you're done. So it needs to be addressed. So, and just adding the voltmeters to the track fixes the rule, basically. I mean,
or just like readouts or anything, because
a
lot of controllers now have readouts anyways.
Right.
So you can see what the voltage is, but that can be fake. So
yes, it can, because I was at a raceway one time that we were supposed to be qualifying on 16.2, and that's what the voltmeter in infield said. But when you hooked your voltmeter up at the controller panel, it told you it was 18.2.
New world record was set, I'm assuming?
There's a lot of records set on that track at one time, and that's why. So,
they banned all controllers with voltage readouts for that reason.
I was asked what I was doing at the controller panel. I had no business there. Get out of there. So, nice 18 volts we got. That meter's fake. So, but that's all I got to say about caps and controllers. But it was an interesting subject.
It was a fun thing to read on Facebook. That was
always fun. Everybody's kind of giddy and everything late at night. There's usually some good comedy in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any current manufacturers out there that are doing anything from the factory.
Right.
Causing them to add voltage.
Right.
That's all stuff that the end users are doing.
Right. Yeah, if it's being done, it's people doing it.
Yeah.
On their own.
I know there are people on there saying that they don't want to race with people who have a big black box in their controller.
Right.
Or something like that.
I'll put voltmeters on. Have your raceway.
Yeah, just test it
on the track, and you'll know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So I asked you pre-show. So Walker, and you talked about last week on the show. the extra power supply has been delivered, and
Yes.
caps are being wired maybe as we speak, but it'll all be in place before
Yes.
Plexi Flats next weekend.
We're hoping in place before this weekend's
Good
Mid-South
sound.
race.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay. Looking forward to
And
it.
it's also getting we're going to clean it today and do like test striping in one section to make sure it works. And it's what we want. And then once we do that and it dries and we make sure it's what we want, then we'll stripe the entire track.
Okay, so and also on Sunday after the Flexi Flats race, there's going to be a GT12 and a Eurosport 24th fun test and tune type race.
Yeah.
Fun. I guess GT12 is going to run 3-minute heats and Eurosports will be 4-minute heats, or maybe 5, depending on.
Yeah, I saw both numbers thrown out.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of comedic in that because somebody said, well, 4-minute GT12 heats. I'm like, well, if you want to run 3, just stop it for 3 minutes and, then go the next
I'll take all 4. I don't care.
What I'm saying is, if you do it that way, you'll know what your lap total is for 4 minutes or whatever, so.
Yeah.
So Walker, you're probably gonna race in that?
Yeah, I'll definitely race GT12. I'm not sure.
Do you have stuff or you gotta borrow stuff?
I have stuff. I have a GT12. I have a PMP GT12 chassis already built now that I'll probably end up running. And I have a Massetti GT12 kit and a Red Fox GT12 kit that are coming in the mail.
Maybe I'll borrow a car from you.
What?
Maybe I'll borrow a car from you.
I'm not want to if I build the cars.
I'm actually not going to race that stuff anyway, so but I was just teasing you. 3 cars, I might change my mind.
And maybe I can rent out a Eurosport car.
Okay.
If I'm lucky.
And Justin, you're going to stick around and race both, right?
Yes, I will be there Sunday.
Okay.
Maybe I can run his Eurosport car if it's not broken.
No, you just said rent, not use. Rent.
Okay, I can rent his Eurosport car if it's not broken.
You might rent your broken car.
Maybe.
He's got a 4.2 special he'll loan you.
Yeah, I'll run that 4.2 pinion and that 132nd chassis. Where'd it
go? Okay, so Justin where's your thing for show us your chassis, PMP 2017 GT12. Oh, that's not very good. It's in the plastic bag.
Come on now.
There you go.
There we go.
That's what we like. All right. So the lucky big winner this week.
Please don't give me another one. Kidding.
I put Mike Fleming back in there. He's not the winner.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, if that was me, then that'd be good comedy.
Okay, Buddy Mitchell. Buddy Mitchell's a racer in Ohio. Haven't seen him for a while, but Buddy Mitchell, you need to contact. Does PMP have a Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay.
Or he can contact me directly.
Yep. Okay.
Either way.
PMP chassis. And okay, so Fleming and Rube. I kept their names out this time. Tires. All right, and then we got 2 more pair of tires to give away.
Here we go. Practice tires.
Walker, you've never won anything, have you?
Nah.
I don't think I've won anything either.
I don't even know if Walker's name's in here.
It's probably not. I've commented, but you haven't put my name.
Okay, so Bob Dempsey, I know that guy. He wins a pair of tires.
Yeah, okay. You go,
And the
Bob.
final winner, Mike Parker.
Oh, Parker. Hey, look at that.
We know those guys.
Yeah.
I know those guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike Parker, Bob Dempsey, Mike Fleming and Rube Brantley were Terminator tire winners. You need to contact Herman James on Facebook or go to the Herminator. Don't get terminated by Herminator. Herminator tire page on Facebook.
And those tires are the plastic rim, his newer plastic rim tires, and which are the same ones that are being handed out at Flexi Flats.
So is that a JK plastic cup or something different?
S&K.
S&K, okay. And then
Thought it looked different.
Buddy Mitchell wins the P&P chassis this week. So contact those fantastic manufacturers who gave stuff away. Maybe next week we'll give away some RM chassis.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
At some point, I will.
At some point, I will.
Don't know when. Maybe, like I said, probably the next run. So.
Okay. So, one last subject, and this could go on forever, but I don't want to go on forever. We talked about this, and we haven't talked about it a great deal. And it was brought up, I don't remember where I seen it was brought up, but it's been brought up several times in the past. So like in USRA and some other racing groups, organizations, they have rules regarding commercial availability and then price restrictions, which is two different topics.
That's pretty relatable.
Oh no, it's two separate because you can you can sell something within the dollars, but you're not making it available, so it's not commercially available. It's two different.
Relatable to.
But we're gonna. Oh, okay. Go on. What are you gonna relate it to?
It's related to our chassis right now because, so we were told about a month or two ago that the Flexi chassis price was going up to $3,170.
No, $3,150.
$3,150, yeah, $3,150.
Yes.
And so we were told that, and so they were putting ERI, and Mercedes new 4.5s were putting ERI at $3,150. Mm-hmm. And we sold chassis at $3,150, and then we got a call saying that we can't sell them at $3,150. I don't remember what the actual price is, but the price didn't go up like it was supposed to.
Okay.
So we had to.
So the USRA has price limits on certain items. Flexi chassis, GT12 chassis, 27 light chassis, box stock chassis.
Motor parts.
Yep, C-can setups, D-can setups, and the different all armatures except Group 7 and Group 27 have a dollar limit. So armatures at retail for that much or less and meet all the specs and are commercially available and blah, blah, blah become legal for use at USRA events. So every year, those prices are allowed to be adjusted to reflect cost of living increases. Okay, so you have when you Google cost of living increase for like 2017, what usually comes up is the cost of living increase that they gave to Social Security benefits or people who receive Social Security benefits. They usually get a 2% a year cost of living increase. Same with military. But that's not really the actual cost of living increase in the good old USA because there's so many other things, okay? So the USA rule says you can adjust it each year based on the prior year's cost of living increase to a maximum of 5%. Now, if you Google cost of living increase further, you will find out that in some parts of this country, the cost of living increased from 2016 to 2017, 24% on average. Because it's taking into effect your utility increases, your grocery increases, your consumer goods increases, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So years ago, the USRA says we're going to do this, but we're going to allow for increases, but we only allow a maximum of 5%. Very few times in the past were manufacturers ever given the full 5%. Okay, some years they only given 1%, some they were 3%, some they were 4%. I mean, it's been all over there. There's no set. This is what the percentage is. So going into January of last January of 2018, when the manufacturers, if they're going to make new products, they have to submit by July 1st. But they also need to know what the new price was going to be or is going to be, so they can decide if they can produce a product within that dollar limit. If they can, then they submit. If the dollar limit's too low and they can't, then they don't submit. It's not worth their time. So this year, the cost of or the increase was 5% across the board for everything, and that was done in. Well, I mean, I got the email sometime in June of 2018. Just like all, I don't know if you got. You should have gotten it, or your dad.
Yeah, we got it as well.
Okay, and same with Justin.
Yeah.
No.
You didn't get a letter, an email. Okay. So anyway, you're current U.S. commercial members, right? USRA commercial members.
Yep.
Okay.
Both and my dad.
Well, you should have got it. So anyway, that went out to everybody, and I think in your case, Walker, I don't think the current administration is aware of what was done back in June. Therefore, the new administration is looking at the rule and it says $30 maximum. Well, because the new rule book isn't done, which would say $31.50, and on the page where all the other prices are for setups, armatures, and the other chassis, it would say on all those prices would be increased.
Yeah.
So that's really not what my topic here was, but this all goes into it. So now I guess the current administration is balking at the 5%, saying that it shouldn't have went up that much. But I don't see how they can undo it because it was done within the rules, you know.
Yeah.
And I think another factor that played into the 5% was the talk of tariffs increasing imported products.
Yes.
So I know of two manufacturers that have already been, one's been hit with increase tariff, 25% on materials. Another one was notified that their next shipment will have 25% tacked on to the tariff. And both make restricted products for the USRA. So what they are going to do is unseen yet as far as what they are going to do about that. But I think when the former administration looked at the increase, they increased a little extra because these tariffs are going to happen. They're coming.
Yeah.
They're not going to cover, 5% don't cover 25%.
No.
Okay. So I guess my question is, because you two really aren't manufacturers, but you are related, involved, and live with manufacturers, I guess. And I don't know what your situation is, Justin. I don't know if you and your father own the company jointly or it's his and, whatever. But it affects you. It affects...
It's jointly.
Okay. So...
Yeah, same here.
So my question is, do you think that the USRA should have price restrictions on certain products?
Yes, because there are, for example, box stock chassis that are like $150 that don't need to be $125 to $150.
Okay, now wait a minute.
And so I feel like the same thing would happen with
I got to stop here.
chassis.
So, okay, when you say $150 box stock chassis, you mean like a custom built, buying it from a builder deal, not. You're not seeing Colford or Cayman or
No.
whatever box stock chassis selling for $150.
Well, no, not like the average, everyday known companies. There are like smaller companies that have it done themselves.
Okay.
And with rules that there are now, like for example, Hillbilly, where you can run any steel
Right.
chassis
Right.
with no price restriction, then there's these newer steel chassis that aren't USRA legal that are being sold for.
Well,
So if they were to make a USRA legal chassis without the price limit, then
right.
it would probably be the same way, and so
Okay.
you'd have to have a deep pocket to go fast.
Well, okay. So right. So in one hand, with price restrictions, we know what's going on.
Yes.
And then if you have no price restrictions and no approval and no submission, we know it's the wild, wild west as far as, one, it doesn't have to be available to anybody. You can show up at that race with your own chassis.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell it. You don't have to offer it, but you're allowed to run it. But that's the way they run their deal. I'm not knocking that,
Yeah, no, not at all, because it's a good way. It's a good way to go.
A good way to go is let anything run, is what you're saying?
Yeah, a good way. Yeah, a good way to go, and to where people who have chassis that are newer that don't meet specs can race, but also people who have older chassis that don't meet specs anymore can also race. And I believe it allows for more chassis development, having no specs. For example, the Mystery 27 Light chassis,
right?
The one that was said to be made out of titanium,
right?
And so, if that is true and it was made out of titanium, then that just allows the sport to get better by then more chassis being made out of titanium and being produced.
Okay. I think we're getting off topic a little bit, but do you think price restrictions are good or bad, Walker?
I think they're good. I think price restrictions are good.
Is that that's kind of what you just said goes against what you just said? If you know.
Yes. I mean, I can see both sides of the coin, which is why I said what I just said.
Right. Okay. Now, Justin, it's your turn.
So I feel like the companies should be able to have competitive prices based on how they want to price.
Okay.
And it's one race a year.
I understand.
And they have to sell those chassis for multiple different organizations for the price that is set by the organization that only races once a year.
Right.
And again, like what Walker said, getting rid of the price restrictions like in GT12, that would allow for manufacturers to make a little bit more money and then possibly have better developed chassis as well.
Okay.
But they should still be submitted and approved by the organization. It shouldn't be, at least for USRA.
So what you're saying is they should be no price restriction, but they have to be commercially available.
Right. You should still be able to buy them. They should be submitted and approved.
Right.
But it's not quite Eurosport level.
Right.
But you should still be able to go to almost anywhere and have them at least be able to order them or purchase them there.
You should, right. They should be available to everybody.
Right.
Right. Because my thing is in the restricted classes or the lower classes, whatever you want to call them, parts have to be available to everybody. I mean, if you want to run custom one-off made stuff, that's what Group 7's about.
Yeah.
Maybe 27 light. I don't even want to really bring the wing classes into it. But, I mean, if you're talking on the scale side of thing, which I think most of our viewers are scale racers, things have to be available. I mean, you can run Eurosport and you can run whatever. Who cares? It can cost $1,000. Who cares? That's the choice you make when you run the class. But you can't have that in all the classes. Like we keep $200 flexi car chassis, but we can't have $300. Well, I guess you can have $300 GT12 chassis, but I don't think that bodes well for that class.
Right.
Popular.
Yeah. That's gonna get it a little crazy.
Right.
Like I know Horkey's open grip 12 chassis. That's a $150 chassis.
Right. But if you let the manufacturers, if you don't have a price cap or a price limit, you're still, if you change, let's say GT12 and you said, okay, you guys can charge up to $120. Some guys are just going to raise the prices of their chassis. Some will come out with some new chassis and say, okay, these are $120. So, caps work and they don't work. But the thing is, you can't, if you don't have a cap in GT12, you're going to have who knows what price chassis.
Yeah.
Basically, open 12 is what it's going to become. Unless you have the commercially available thing, because open 12, there's no commercial availability, there's no price restrictions.
Right.
It's a C-Can Eurosport class. Is basically what it is.
Yeah.
So GT12 is a controlled, if you will, C-Can Eurosport class. It's controlled by availability and price.
Right. But also having it be a commercial available may also affect the quantity supplied by the manufacturer.
Sure.
And then at what price they decide to sell it at.
Right. If I come out with a sucky chassis that's $120,
no one's going to buy it.
Right. Even if it's $40, no one's going to buy it.
Right.
Right. And that's another thing, too. If it comes down to pricing, like let's say in flexi cars, if people think 3150 is too much for flexi cars, okay, fine. Then just say then all you can run is the Champion TurboFlex, which sells for $21 or whatever.
Yeah.
If it's really about price, and so here's another thing too, the flexi car USRA price changed from $30 to $31.50. Okay, $1.50. We spend hundreds of dollars to go to races.
Yeah.
What's $1.50? Even if it went to, let's say if it went to $40, that's $8.50. What's $8.50 when you're spending $200 to go to a race?
Yeah.
For example,
or like $500 on a plane ticket.
Right.
A $40 chassis is nothing.
See here, but here's the thing. When everyone that's being hit with tariffs, and like I said, 2 so far have, the rest will. Anybody that's important is going to get hit on their next shipment or very soon. So they will have a choice. They raise their prices and they may find their stuff not legal any longer, or they eat the tariff to keep legal.
Yeah.
But if I have a competitive chassis, I'm selling now for $31.50, and I say, okay, I'm going to eat this to stay in this group, and the other guy says, well, no, I'm out. I'm going to raise my price. I'm going to be like, wait a minute, he's getting $40 for his chassis. Maybe I need to get out of this and sell my chassis for $40 to cover my loss.
Yeah.
25% is a lot on anything.
Yeah, it is.
That's a quarter on a dollar. That's huge.
Yeah.
So
that's really like big sheet metal.
And then at some point, if the USRA finds itself with no one willing to make products for those prices, then what do they do?
Right. And then there's nothing that's left legal in the USRA.
Right.
You could run a Flexi 1 and a Flexi 2, and that's it.
Right.
Just race Womps, I guess.
Our champion.
GTP.
Well, okay, so I'm glad you brought the Womps up because
oh no.
correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't some of these newer Womp chassis selling for like $30 to $40 a piece?
I really don't know because the Womps I have are like $12 chassis.
Okay.
Because I didn't really think it would be very smart to spend that much money on a Womp. But, I don't know how much the new RGO Womp is. I'm sure you've probably seen it because he posted it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't know what it is, but I thought one of those. I don't know what. Again, I don't follow it that close, but I was thinking one of those kind of machined
Yeah.
chassis is like $30 or $35.
Yeah. I mean, you pay for what you get, I guess.
Right. Well, again,
And that's
when you get into series and traveling racing, it's a different game from a weekly race.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
now what they really need for a Womp Womp is a Womp Womp made of titanium so that it won't bend as easy.
they still
There we
bend.
go.
I
Not as easy.
had a titanium wing car in 1996. I mean, it's not like it's some magic. If it was magic, we'd all be running it. We've had this. This has been around for 20 plus years. I mean,
Or maybe tungsten. Get a tungsten Womp chassis so that it's heavy so you don't have to buy a lot of weight.
yeah, okay. But in 27 Light, the only advantage the titanium chassis gives you is just it's lighter weight because you have to run a steel chassis.
Yeah.
So if you're going to cheat, you might as well just run an aluminum chassis and plate it with some magnetic material and be done with it.
Yeah.
A magnet sticks to it, steel. Steel.
That sounds like a good idea.
Well, I'm just saying. There's just. And see, that's going back to no approvals and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you open the doors to.
Just say it's nickel plated and be done with it.
Right.
So I understand that completely. So it's chassis are so weird now because there's all of a sudden in flexi car world, at least, there's all of a sudden a lot of chassis development compared to the last 10 years. There's a ton of chassis development right now. And so all of this chassis development is, I think, making the price go up because 10 years ago, whenever we opened, prices were like $24 or $23 for a JK chassis.
Okay, well, if we go back to 1985 when the flexi car came out, they were like $9.95.
Well, yeah, but they were junk, so.
No, no, they weren't. There was the only thing we could run. Okay, so they weren't really junk. They were better than a wall. But every flexi that came along, except for a few, was better than what was previously offered. Okay, so but over time, stamping costs go up, material costs go up, things go up. So you could not. Well, you could make a flexi chassis today and sell it for $9.95. You're just not going to make any money. Especially trying to pay your tooling off, it just ain't gonna happen.
Maybe if you made the flexi chassis out of some metal you got out of the scrapyard, then maybe $9.95 or $9.99. But I don't think it's possible now.
Well, even at that, at least with USRA, at the discount you have to sell to the distributor at.
Right.
Yeah,
you make like $2.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
But if you sell 100,000 flexi chassis a year, that's $200,000. Good luck with that one.
Yeah, have fun shelling out $200,000 to make $200,000. Good job.
Good luck with that. Okay, so we'll stop here, and if we get any interesting letters or comments what we talked about, we'll bring them up next week. But
oh yay!
So we'll just see what happens. Okay, so special guest Justin Colvin. Secret word. Because we forgot to do this last week.
Yeah.
Clippers.
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 We're not talking Los Angeles Clippers. We're talking haircut Clippers. Walker. That ain't Clippers, them snippers.
Get out the head trimmers, boys.
I'm going to bring the weed whacker to North Carolina. Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next Wednesday for episode 67. And thank you, Justin, for coming on and telling us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And you can come on anytime. Well, I won't say what I was going to say. We have an open door policy. I was going to say open border policy, but I didn't want to go there. So
That's controversy.
yeah, I know. And race with Herminator tires. Plug. All right, everybody, we're out. Have a good, safe weekend. Good luck racing. See you next week.